with citizens. San Francisco police will then report back to the Department of Justice on a periodic basis to show that it is following the practice. Other police departments, such as that of Baltimore, have asked the Department of Justice to conduct similar reviews of their policies following accusations of discrimination. Protests have flared in San Francisco over the fatal shooting on December 2nd of Woods, which was filmed by bystanders and described by San Francisco's public defender as unnecessary. Demonstrators have repeatedly called for Police Chief Greg Sear's ouster. In video recorded by onlookers, officers could be seen with their weapons pointed at Woods, who was standing with his back against the wall of a building. In the video, Woods does not seem to be holding anything when he is shot multiple times, although police have said they recovered a kitchen knife. Sear has said that Woods was a suspect in a stabbing, that he was holding a knife, and was a threat to officers who had tried to subdue him with pepper spray and beanbag rounds. His family filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city in December for wrongful death, describing his killing as a horrific public execution. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Did you know that 35% of high school girls report that they've only had sex with 1 or 2 partners a year, instead of having the living shit out of them by any guy they see?
Did you know that only half of all 17-year-old males report without a condom, even though it's really the only way to go?
There are thousands of American teenagers today who are unaware of the full benefits of your brains out all day, every day. These otherwise average high schoolers haven't been taught about every chance you get, pounding each other dry and never ever pulling out. Every sexually active high school student should know this stuff. Ditch the condoms, because it's always better raw. Stop worrying about STDs. Every chance you get. Just keep and strangers, doesn't matter who. And most importantly, be direct with your partner about how badly you want to fuck their brains out.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can call in and bring up whatever topic you want here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's a Tuesday night, and it's Mark with you.
And Johnny Ray.
And Johnson.
And, I know you're probably wondering where Ian is, so I'll quickly let you know he's off at some board meeting for the Cheshire TV or something like that. So he had to call in the big guns in order to save his butt, as usual. So here I am, and bringing it to you. So, Johnny Ray, apparently there was a situation, and this story isn't particularly new, but there is some new news on the story. And it was a situation where a guy in North Carolina had had the police come to his door, and they knocked on the door, and I guess asked for somebody who was there or something like that. It was supposed to be there, and they thought was there, or had lived there at one point, or whatever happened. And guy said, no, he doesn't live here anymore. And the police asked to come in and take a look around. And apparently, guy's like, well, yeah, once you come back with a warrant. And so the police officers decided that they didn't like the idea of this guy closing the door on them. And
the one police officer seems to have been infuriated. He kicked down the door, entered the residence, and attacked the man, put him in handcuffs, tased him. He might have pepper sprayed him, dragged him out on the porch, and the man was fighting to get the taser from the police officer. And he dislodged the taser. The cop shouted, he's got the taser. And then one of the 2 police officers that was there fired 4 or 5 shots, shot the guy in the mouth, shot him in the chest, and he died that night.
So this is murder, right? I mean, it is unconstitutional for police officers to just come into your home.
Right.
And this is murder. Now, are these police officers in jail?
No, they're not.
Are they fired?
They're on administrative leave.
Oh, they're getting a paid vacation.
Someone could make the argument, and this is the ridiculous argument, but someone could make the argument that once he got the taser from the police officer, that then he could have used the taser to acquire the gun.
I believe what he did was pull the taser barbs out. So this is what happens. When you feel pain in a localized region, you tend to reach for that region.
Right.
Police officers, if you're listening to me, somebody who reaches for the area that they're being tased is not a threat to you. They're not trying to kill you. It's, I mean, this is the kind of excuse they use all the time. And remember, these are the same people that will shoot your dog if they come into your yard. But mail carriers have been coming into your yard for years, delivering your mail, and have never shot your dog.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between pulling out taser barbs and acquiring a taser, though. If he acquired the taser, then he could have used the taser, potentially, to acquire the firearm.
Once it's fired, a taser's really only a one-shot thing, from what I understand.
I don't
mean,
know.
there may be other
I think some of them have a stunning, like a localized, like you can still push it into someone, like a stun gun.
I still don't think it's a particular reason to. The other police officer still has a taser.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you have a non-lethal, when somebody has a non-lethal weapon, is it time to pull out a lethal weapon to shoot them?
Yeah, but they don't get that.
The incident happened last November, so this didn't just happen yesterday. And the reason that we're bringing it up, the reason that I'm bringing it up is because I saw a headline where the police and the authorities have declined to charge. They haven't declined. They haven't given any word. They're not commenting on whether or not they're going to charge them or not. The family is upset. They've been holding 50-plus people vigils outside the police station.
I bet that's pretty effective, actually. If you can get that many people to come.
Well, actually, I say that because the one number I saw was 80, but I'm just assuming that they can get 50 consistently because they've been doing it night after night. And
night after night? It's not even like once a week?
I can't confirm that, but multiple nights. And they're the story that I read today recounting the events of the night was surreal. They killed the man. They radioed for medical assistance. The one police officer who had fired the shots was, as his victim, who'd been shot in the face and several times in the chest, was gurgling blood and dying. The cop was sitting on the porch across from him, just staring at him, like with a dead look on his face. And the other guy
the way somebody reacts in a situation like that, I don't think that, like, I'm not ready to indict the police officer simply on that fact.
I'm not condemning him. I'm saying that I'm not saying that anything he did in doing that was wrong.
If you call, I mean, as long as he's called the ambulance in that circumstance, I feel like his reaction is sufficient, because people will react differently. If he's rocking back and forth giggling to himself, I get how that's going to look on the local news. But, I mean, the way somebody, reports that, somebody on the scene is going to report that, I don't feel like, I guess I feel it's irrelevant. What I want to know is I want to know the facts of the case. And if they kicked the door in when this guy said come back with a warrant, they're murderers, both of them. And any one of their, why did the police who found out these facts not put them in handcuffs? Because that's what they would do to you or I.
Uh-huh.
If this situation was, hey, I came to this guy's door and I asked to come in and look around, and he said, go away. So I became enraged. I kicked his door in, and then when he, reacted poorly, I shot him in the face a few times. Then the police are going to be like, oh, yeah, your butt's going to prison, and you're never going to leave. But if you've got the Met badge, we're going to have to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I guess that's what would really stung me about this particular story. I get that these police officers probably will be held account, but I'll bet you 2 or 3 years ago they wouldn't have.
Yes, that's right. And justice is not blind, and the reason that that there's some justice in this, if there is because the family of Mr. Livingston, who was the man who died, has had to go to an incredible amount of effort and energy in order to gin up these 80-person protests,
right?
In order to make justice happen.
If they didn't do that, what would the results have been? You have to ask yourself that. And the number is 855-450-3733, or you can call us on Skype. Our username is LRN. That says in Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM. And it's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to a former police officer himself, Straight Razor, calling in from Texas. Straight Razor, you're on Free Talk Live.
evening, gentlemen. So first of all, Justice is a 5-year-old running around a room with a mallet at this point. But I would say one thing for everyone to keep in mind, especially our activists and everybody else out there, is when something like this happens, it's going to be really hard to control yourself, to not be enraged and not to resist. But at that point in time, it's going to be really hard. You're not going to win.
Yep.
So the way I see it, and this is coming from a perspective of doing the job and seeing how other people act, and seeing the training. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is to live to fight another day.
Yeah. The results here are foreseeable. Right, like when what's his name? What was the victim's name?
John Livingston.
When John pulled, acted outraged, which is the normal result in a situation like that. When he acted outraged and he, let his emotions get a hold of him, and then he began to sort of struggle and that sort of thing. And getting tased, I see why somebody's going to struggle, right? But once that happened, then he's gone down a road. This police officer broke the law and should have gone to prison for kicking that door in. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, he should get 3 times the punishment that the average person would get for kicking a door in. I don't think this guy should see the light of day until he's 65. That's how I feel. Yeah. And but once he did that, like the guy was justifiably outraged. However, now he is irreparably dead.
Yes, and the thing, and like I said, the thing to keep in mind here is that you're not going to win. There's another 50 officers on the other side of the radio.
Yeah, and they're not going to help you. They're going to help the guy with the badge. Straight Razor, thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. Your opinion.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly.
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Our hairballs have hairballs.
Olive was suffering like a dog. She was itching, she was scratching, she was licking 24 hours a day.
Just chewing and chewing and chewing.
Scratching and biting.
Buddy, my Shih Tzu's itching problem, constantly licking his feet. It keeps me up at night.
And all it took was 1 container of Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids. Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days.
Tons of energy, no more bad smells.
The shedding has stopped and the itching has stopped.
Sleep at night. Oh, let me do it again. Sleep at night. Get your dog some Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Well, the situation went down in North Carolina. It's been a couple of months since it happened, but there's an update on the story. Johnny Ray, tell it to us real quick.
Some Harnett County Sheriff's deputies executing a raid were looking for a man. The man didn't live at
raid
that.
suggests they have a warrant. These guys were knocking on a door looking for somebody.
They were trying to take a suspect into custody.
Yeah.
And the man apparently didn't live at the place anymore. The resident, John Livingston, 33 years old, told the deputy that he wasn't there. He didn't live there. They knew him, but he didn't live there anymore. The deputy said, "Well, we want to search the house anyway."
I bet they do.
John Livingston said, "Come back when you have a warrant." And he closed the door in the sheriff's face. The deputy sheriff kicked open the door, assaulted Livingston, tased him, dragged him out on the porch. There was a scuffle over the taser, and John Livingston, the officer, I should say, the deputy, shot John Livingston 5 times approximately and killed him.
Several times in the face.
Yeah, and the family is upset because the city won't tell them anything. John Livingston's mother, I believe it was, felt that a word from the deputy to Livingston's children would have been appropriate, but nothing like that.
Didn't happen, huh?
Yeah, and no charges have been filed. They say they're waiting on an autopsy. Livingston's family says, "We know he was killed by bullets. The results of an autopsy will not clarify."
Turns out the guy you shot 5 times was killed by bullets.
Whether or not a crime took place here.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go to Tom calling in from, it looks like Maryland. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, I hate hearing these stories. In fact, I hadn't heard of this one, so thank you. They're very disheartening. And I agree with what the officer said prior to you taking my call.
That was Straight Razor. He's a longtime listener, and he's a former police officer also.
Yeah, probably in most instances, it's wise to not resist. You're probably not going to come out on the winning end. And if you do, you're probably going to be in more trouble. However, I maintain and I supported a law in Indiana. I maintain that it's perfectly reasonable and within your rights, if you wish, to resist an unlawful arrest.
There is I think it was a Supreme Court ruling in Indiana that says that you can resist an unlawful arrest with violence, right?
Well, I came out in support of a state bill. Now, this was not a Supreme Court ruling.
Okay.
Governor The governor of that state, what was his name? I believe it was a Republican governor, a male. I can't. If I think of his name, I'll tell you.
Don't worry.
Anyway, he went ahead and he signed the legislation, and everyone was mad, of course. The FOP, the police were angry. Basically, what the bill says, and I will help anyone who'd like to get a similar bill passed in their state, because I believe in its power to prevent things like this that much. What it says is that the Castle Doctrine, which most states have, does not exempt police in Indiana. So if a police officer decides he wants to, even with a lousy warrant, they get the numbers wrong all the time. It's like a surgeon. Surgeons don't normally cut off the wrong leg or remove the wrong organ from the wrong person, but police seem to lately have a problem. Well, they have a problem with a lot of things, but I hear more and more about making mistakes on warrants. And so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you find strange men in your house with guns, you can shoot them. A lot of times you're going to do that anyway and not realize they're police. Here's what I think the bill will prevent, or why it will prevent things like that. It will make the police afraid to come into your home. Basically, it turns the table. So the average citizen should not be afraid of having a situation like that occur. The police should be afraid. They should be extra worried that, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen if I knock on that door, do a knock and talk. And that's what happened in this case, I'm sure. And I'm sure the officer's going to say, you know what, my foot was right in the breech. And when he slammed it, he hit my foot, and therefore he assaulted me and battered me. Yep. And I had every right to kick in the door. Actually, we're trained to do that. And normally I would tell people, I have my foot here in the breech. Don't slam the door. Don't close it. I don't want to trick anybody, because you'll smash my foot, and then I have every reason to come in. A lot of times they don't do that. It's a little trick they play. So with this law, I think it will prevent a lot of that garbage. And I know a lot of people will be upset with me, but, I'll tell you, I'm sick and tired of hearing things like this occurring.
Well, one of the things
I want everyone to be safe.
When you make the analogy to the surgeon, so the surgeons, I'm sure that when the first surgeon cut off the first wrong leg accidentally, he's like, hey, well, somebody told me it was this leg, I just cut off the leg that I was supposed to cut off. And then now they have to check more and more thoroughly, they'll write on the leg, not this leg, that kind of thing. And they become responsible because they're being held responsible. One of the reasons the police officers don't act responsibly is because they're not held responsible in certain circumstances like this. There are more than 50,000 raids in the United States. Some of those statistically have to be on the wrong residences, and they are. But the police officers who do those raids are not held responsible. The doctor that cuts off the wrong leg is. And if we don't hold police officers from the top to the bottom responsible, then they will continue to act irresponsibly. These are human beings we're talking about. We're not talking about a special classification of human. We're talking about regular human beings, and regular human beings, when they're treated like they're not responsible for things, will act irresponsibly, right?
Absolutely, and that's all this is. You're on the right track. This is simply a preventative measure, and you're right, they're human beings. Listen, I used to teach them towards the end of my career. They're little snot-nosed kids that are fresh out of college or high school, and I can knock them around when I'm training them and when they're under my command, and I can tell them all sorts of horror stories about what's going to happen to them if they pull this kind of nonsense with trying to trick their way into someone's house, but they're only under my purview for so long. And then they're out there and they're doing things with their fellow officers and they're learning bad things. It's like being a parent. You can only do so much. You let them go and you pray they do the right thing. For some reason, too many of them are doing the wrong thing. I'd like to put my foot up their rear end.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Mark, they're never going to be held to justice because they're all on the same team.
Well, actually, I was just thinking of that, them being held to justice. And, there are some products that are coming out now. They're becoming more and more commonplace. These video, like, they hook into your doorbell, and essentially you have a camera at your doorstep so that when people call. You don't have to answer the door. You just talk through the doorbell, and then you'll have also a video recording of your interaction and what happens there.
And number's 855-450-3733. Are we on the wrong side of this? 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Free Talk Live.
They gently kind of hang on to it or manipulate it with their mouths. The pufferfish then releases toxins that seem to intoxicate the dolphins.
He's getting high.
Apparently, there's legislation in India to consider dolphins to be non-human persons. Would dolphins be subject to arrest for getting intoxicated?
How else could they deal with this threat to the dolphins?
Obviously, there's disorderly conduct and public intoxication.
I bet they'll resist arrest, too.
Yeah, because dolphins don't really have hands. They're going to fight you, and a dolphin will rape you.
Think of the money for the prison industrial complex here. I mean, they'll have to build whole new underwater prisons for the dolphins. This could be big.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. On Tuesday, gold is even at $1,130 per ounce. Silver is up 2 cents at $14.42 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $373 US. We have plenty of new 2016 Silver American Eagles and Canadian Maple Leaf coins in stock. Get yours online at rrbi.co or give us a call at 800-874-9760.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on the counter. Now. Wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Whoa. Hey! Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Johnson.
Talking about a story out of North Carolina where a guy tells some police officers who are at his door to go get a warrant if you want to take a look around. And the police officer becomes enraged. One of the police officers becomes enraged. They kick the door in, and after struggle ensues, the guy has been shot like several times. So it's a tragic story. We've had a couple of people call in that just sort of realize that, well, if you struggle, this is likely to be the result, even if you're in the right. Got two guys trained to use weapons, and they're going to use them if you struggle against them. Better off to have fought this in court.
Mark, if I can interject, one of the things that the story brought to my mind was Barry Cooper's advice about what to do if the police come knocking on your door.
What's that? That
was to lock the door and through the window say, if you have a warrant, go ahead and bust the door down. And I've given that advice out on this very radio show, but is that good advice?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like
it could get you killed.
It sounds to me, if I don't know about the door locking part, I guess is but I get what the reason he says lock the doors so that they can't just try the knob and come in if they feel like it. It's they have some commitment to kicking the door in, but like if you run from police officers when they catch you, even if you're on the ground, face down, prone, waiting for them, the chances are you're gonna get you're going to get beat on in all likelihood. At least I've seen plenty of videos where that has happened. How's that?
Yeah, I saw a video of a guy who got ejected from a minivan, hit a highway sign, and was lying motionless, and he was descended upon by
6 or 7 cops, I think.
It turns out that the guy was
in boots.
As I understand about that video, that guy was actually dead, and the police officers were beating a dead man.
Wow.
Which shows that he was not resisting, right?
Right.
Or at least they're going to tell you he was dead because they probably killed him.
Austrian economists, I saw the video, they didn't get beat on him for that long because he didn't react.
They looked like they were beating on him hard enough to kill him.
I suppose. Austrian economists like Hoppe, Rothbard, they adopted in their writings a position against open borders, a position that many libertarians take. David Hathaway, in his new book, Immigration, Individual versus National Borders, takes apart these arguments against open borders while still supporting the position that an individual property owner has the absolute right to exclude or invite anyone onto his or her property. You can get a copy of Immigration, Individual versus National Borders through Amazon and get it in either its print or Kindle form. It's called Individual versus National Borders. Immigration, Individual versus National Borders.
This sounds like a book like that could clear up some questions.
Yeah,
it's a foggy area.
He's clear. He's very clear on the subject, and he's quite a thinker. Let's go to Laura calling in from Colorado. Laura, you're on Free Talk Live. What is on your mind?
Hi, guys. Wanted to say that you all sound very cheerful tonight. Ian sounded grumpy last night, so maybe it's a good thing that he's getting a little break tonight. And I don't want Ian getting mad at me, but he did sound grumpy last night, so...
You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Ian's about as dangerous when he's angry as when he's not.
I said grumpy, just kind of grumpy, so I was like, so somebody needs to buy Ian an ice cream sundae or something. But anyway, wanted to say an armed society is a polite society. And that's like one of the best bumper stickers that I think anyone could have on their vehicle. But getting into the topic, 50% chance nowadays, 50% chance that when you encounter a police officer, you could be murdered. That's how bad it really is.
What?
I
don't understand the statistics here, Laura.
Where does this statistic come from?
I mean, surely there's a lot more police contacts than there. There's more than just twice the number of people killed. I don't get it.
Okay, no, and I'm not saying it as a statistic. Okay, the gentleman that had his door kicked in, was killed. He was murdered. Okay, there is a 50% chance he would have had the bad cop at the door, or it could have been someone that actually knows what the Constitution is.
Half the cops stink.
Way,
Got it.
Right. Well, I mean, you just don't know. When someone comes to your door or someone wants to pull you over, you just don't know what kind of a person you're going to be dealing with, because our police systems and our law enforcement systems are so out of control right now. And so it's very
I'd say they're out of control because of incentives, though, Laura. That's what I think the reason is that they're not being generally held accountable because the benefit of the doubt is often given to law enforcement. And I can see why people do that. I did it for years here on Free Talk Live. But the problem is when you continue to give the same group the same benefit of the doubt over and over again, somebody in that group is going to take advantage of it, and it's going to create a culture of people that take advantage of the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know how long it's gone on, and I'm not sure how deep and embedded the culture is, but I can tell you that there are plenty of situations where police look like a bunch of entitled babies.
Well, and that I couldn't agree more. And, we already have laws existing. So the laws are not being followed. We could make 5,000 more laws, but as long as you've got district attorneys and state attorney generals that refuse to prosecute police officers who murder innocent people, it doesn't matter how many laws you have. It doesn't matter how many times you go to court. We've all heard of these cases where you go to court and the judge would not allow certain evidence to be presented.
Oh.
Yep. Well, apparently.
What? That was a weird sound effect at the end of her call, too. It sounded like she was popping like a bubble.
The Fraternal Order of Police got to her.
It was just like... and she was done.
But when a prosecutor is faced with like a mandatory minimum, or they're prosecuting a what Will Grigg calls a mundane, somebody who's not part of the enforcement caste or the government,
yep,
they can resign. They can condemn them and resign them to life imprisonment with just a stern face and, well, I've got to do this for society.
Yeah, Western civilization could crumble if I don't hold these people to account.
But when they're faced with prosecuting somebody that they know, somebody that they work with on a day-to-day basis, who's basically an appendage to their office,
yeah,
then they don't do it. They do not take on that stoic mask and do what has to be done. They let them off because they can't, because they're human beings.
My experience with the state's attorney's office is many of them are former police officers. The smart cops that get tired of sitting in their car watching speeders go by. They're reading the law books and that sort of thing. These are the ones that sort of graduate to the state's attorney's office.
So how she was saying that statistic of the you have a 50-50 chance of
50% of the time, all the time.
Yeah, which is just being pulled out of thin air. But if we wanted to actually make that into something where we can actually talk about that as possibly a real statistic, so according to Sam Harris, he's he does a lot of research on this type of stuff. I found out he has published this. The average American has a 1 in 250 chance of being robbed, assaulted, raped, or murdered each year. And actually, the chance is probably greater than this because we know that certain crimes such as assault and rape are underreported. And he goes on to talk about those statistics in different areas. But basically, I want to just focus on that one because it's talking about the average American. And we know from other statistics that we found out that the police are now the majority of property being seized. So it kind of almost makes...
So policing organizations seize more property than burglars
They rob more people than actual burglars do. So it kind of would make sense to me to think that, hey, maybe they're on par with criminals in other areas too. So I'm betting that this 1 in 250 chance of being robbed, assaulted, and raped by criminals probably also, because the police are basically criminals, so it probably holds true that the 1 in 250 chance of being robbed by an actual criminal is probably equal to being robbed, murdered, or raped by a police officer as well.
I don't know.
The police rape people too.
Yeah, they do. There's no doubt that police killings and rapes and these sorts of things occur, but there's an awful lot of speeding tickets that are given out in this country, and most people
not violent. That's not
most people just walk away from that without something terrible happening.
Sure.
To them. So I don't think it's 1 in 250, but it could be wrong. 855-450-3733. Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait.
Call 800-917-8251. 800-917-8251. 800-917-8251.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Are you an experienced Uber or Lyft driver with excellent ratings? If so, then you're ready to upgrade to Arcade City. Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers for drivers. It's more decentralized than Uber and Lyft. With Arcade City, you keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in, talk about what's on your mind. But what we've been talking about is this situation in North Carolina where this pair of police officers come up to a guy's door. He says...
Sheriff's deputies.
Whatever. Is there really a functional difference?
I don't know.
Okay, so the sheriff's deputies come up to the guy's door. They say, hey, we're looking for so-and-so. He says he doesn't live here. They say, can we come in and take a look around? He says, sure, get a warrant. Goodbye. Click. Close the door. This enrages the police officer. One of the police officers, he begins to kick on the door. I assume his buddy helps him. They then go in. They tase the guy as the guy resists, and I don't know anybody who doesn't resist upon being tased. They then shoot him. So we don't know exactly what occurred, which is, A, one of the problems of police officers not having cameras on their bodies, right? Like, wouldn't it be nice to have the video footage of what happened here?
Right.
That way we're not guessing.
In the story, it suggests that there may have been video from one of the witnesses, but I think that's been taken by the police.
Okay, well, yeah.
Excuse me, the sheriff.
I also feel like it would be fully justified. Like if you say come back with a warrant, click, lock the door, and then the police start to kick in your door, with no warrant, that fully justified. Just shotgun right as soon as the door gets kicked open, full of face full of.
So I can totally see why people feel this way.
Right.
This nation has turned the corner in the last several months on police officers, and you can see the full force push from the fraternal order police, the lives of police, the lives of police, the relatives of police. All these people, they're now on a full frontal. Oh my God, you said something about a police officer. Like anything anybody says, you won't believe the backlash I got from the Customs and Border Patrol checkpoint that's in the United States, detaining me without reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime, which in my opinion is contrary to English common law, contrary to the Constitution, contrary to the laws of the United States, at least some of them. And you wouldn't believe the backlash I got just because I have asked a question and demanded an answer. I demanded an answer from some law enforcement agents. So the push is on. I can see why people feel the way they do, but really what's going to make the difference is the videotape, the court cases, the holding the police accountable. Because a few dead cops is only going to enrage the cop suckers out there, the people who are just, I believe a police officer, no matter what they say, they get the benefit of the doubt. I can look at video that obviously shows several felonies being committed by law enforcement officers, and I can still come up with excuses. That jerk, that person, that un-American, sniveling sycophant, that person, nothing is going to make them believe otherwise unless you have the nicest person in the world saying, sorry, officer, what you're doing is illegal.
Right.
Can you step away from the door? Can you go back to your cruiser now? Please, pretty please, can you go away now?
Yeah.
Now's the time to go away. I'm going to have to call your supervisor. You have to. I don't know what there is to convince a certain amount of Americans, but at this point, the wave has begun, and I believe police are put on notice. I think these guys are going to get found guilty ultimately of something. They aren't going to get found guilty of what they deserve, which is murder and the rest of their lives in prison. And anybody who covered up for them and anybody who allowed them to get away with this, those people. Yeah, that's got to go.
One more thing from the story, Mark. Quote, Lovings, who identifies herself as Livingston's mother-in-law, said she now sees this whole thing from a whole different perspective. I used to think the Michael Brown thing was just a bunch of people being crazy in the street, she said from her mobile home in Pine Ridge Estates. Now I get what the Michael Brown thing is all about. I've never been prejudiced against black people, but I was thinking if they weren't out there being thieving, it wouldn't happen. I was brought up where cops were good guys. Cops didn't do bad things like this. That's what I thought. My Bible tells me to respect the law and the government, Loving said. Even now, how many people openly open up their door to a police officer at 3 in the morning knowing they're not coming for you and they want to go through the hallway just looking for somebody? How many people would let them through the house? That's all John said. Come back with a search warrant.
Yeah, by the way, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was very early. And that's the way I see the Michael Brown thing, too. I'm pretty sure Michael Brown was a robber. He had robbed that store, and I'm probably pretty sure that was a legit shoot in the Michael Brown case. However, if you look at story after story that compiled before the Michael Brown case, regardless of the facts of it, this is kind of what happens. Is if you sweep it under the rug and you look the other way over and over again, pretty soon people are going to, they're going to lash out. And it isn't just Black Lives Matter.
Right.
It's a lot of Americans that are sick and tired of it because it isn't just black Americans the police officers can get away with doing what they want. This guy wasn't black, had nothing to do with being black. I don't usually bring color into it. I prefer to leave color out of it.
Well,
I wish color wasn't an issue.
Wasn't, for example, the baby that got its face blown off by a flash grenade, a flashbang grenade thrown into its crib, the result of the police raiding the wrong house when they were looking for a marijuana, grow op to bust, and oops, wrong house. Oh, sorry, we blew your baby's face off.
Yep. They had, I think,
nothing happened to them.
They had the right address. There was just nothing there.
Yeah, well.
Or it was an old, yeah. Well, either way, it was
outdated.
Clearly, they didn't intend to blow the face off of the baby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's go to Dean calling in from Arizona. Dean, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's on your mind?
I just had a wild idea
as
to how to hold the police accountable. I know it would probably never fly, but it's not an original idea. I had a friend suggest this to me for our elected representatives and presidential candidates. But as far as, the judges and the prosecutorial section and the police should all be separated. And I think the only way to do that is to, for your judges, you have a lottery. And you select different people out of the community to be a judge for a while. The same thing with
That's what they do with jurors.
Not all the prosecutors. What they do with jurors, but it's not the same.
Okay.
And you have someone from the community not dedicated professionally to decide on which cases that they're going to prosecute. I don't know.
That's what a grand jury does, right?
That sounds to me like an absolutely, I'm sorry, I'm going to be the one to say it. That to me sounds like an absolutely abysmal idea.
Why?
Because, first of all, judges go through a whole ton of education to actually understand the law,
rules of the game.
then to be able to judge it. And the average American is an idiot. And I'm sorry, I don't want
So's the
idiots.
average judge.
Yeah, I don't want idiots judging a case. A jury is one thing, right? It's one thing to have a jury, doing that because they divide it amongst 12 different people so that, hey, maybe we'll get some sort of modicum of intelligence out of 12 brains. But to have a judge be, the average beer-swilling, moron judging what's going to happen in a particular case, no, that's
How
not
about
a good
this?
idea.
If a judge or prosecutor,
to me, yeah?
if a judge or prosecutor is shown to be wrong, right? Like they bring a case and they're wrong, they've got to do 25% of the time that the defendant that they were trying to bring on the defendant. So I'm sick and tired of these people not having any skin in the game.
Yeah, that's
because they can bring a case on you and it doesn't cost them anything.
Yep.
But it'll break you. The rest of your life, you're broke.
Yeah. It was my mistake to think that there was a few people in the country that operate on common sense.
The problem is that they do, but you can't find them. There's no test for figuring out common sense.
That's true.
Thanks for the call, Dean.
That's true.
You guys have got
450-3733.
Some very interesting opinions on how to reform the police. But I'm telling you, you cannot make government better, ever. It can't be done because the reason is not in the intricacies or the policies or the way that they're organized. The reason government sucks is that you don't have a choice. Their power is backed up by the sidearms on their hips, and that's where the power comes from. And if their power didn't come from their ability to coerce you, then they wouldn't be the government anymore.
That's that's essentially what it is. And if competition is probably the single most effective thing to bringing better customer service, and that's what we're looking for.
Amen.
We're looking for better customer service from our protectors, and that's what police are. Police their obligation is to protect. Supposedly, that's the idea. Is their obligation is to protect you, and if you want better protection. And not people that, police officers that just support the government and do what their bosses tell them, well, you're going to have competition. Because that's the only thing that works. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
You can control your health care with Liberty Health Share.
Liberty Health Share is like-minded people coming together to share medical costs, which saves money.
You don't even have to pay for procedures that violate your conscience.
Because we all share the same values.
Join the movement of people who share in medical costs and change the way you pay for your health care forever.
Go to libertyhealthshare.org to find out more.
Liberty Health Share.
Together, we're changing healthcare for good. libertyhealthshare.org.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, February 2nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,126 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $376. Antiwar.com reports, according to the Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission responsible for overseeing the ceasefire in South Sudan, the nation's troops carried out a massacre in October in Unity State where they imprisoned 50 civilians in metal shipping containers, suffocating them to death. Reports of a large civilian death toll were investigated for months by the commission, who concluded it was the South Sudanese military that forced the civilians into the containers. This was one of several incidents in the report of civilians being killed by both government and rebel troops. South Sudan became an independent state in 2011 and fell into civil war in 2013 when the president accused his former vice president of an attempted coup. Supporters of the former vice president became the rebels, and fighting has raged ever since. Though there is a ceasefire in place now, both sides continue to accuse each other of violations, and there are constant concerns of the fighting resuming. Given how bloody the war has been so far, it's a concern with potentially huge ramifications for the fledgling nation. The Daily Decrypt is a Monday through Friday newscast about all the best news in cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer networks. Know what's hot in the world of digital money, borderless trade, and cutting-edge communications. Available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook video. The Daily Decrypt is the news of the future. UPI reports diplomatic tensions are spiraling between China and Japan as territorial disputes show no signs of easing, and China has confirmed it has arrested a Japanese national for espionage. Japan's defense ministry said it has assembled a new squadron, the 9th Air Wing, of 40 F-15 fighter jets to protect Tokyo's claims over the disputed chain of islands known as the Senkakus. The squadron is the first to be established in 51 years by Japan's Air Self-Defense Force and includes 1,500 crew members. In January, Japan had warned of stronger responses to Chinese ships sailing near the islands, and Tokyo designated waters within a 12 nautical mile radius of disputed islands as its sovereign maritime zone. A Chinese warship reportedly sailed near the Senkaku Islands last November. The announcement comes at a time when Japan is increasingly aligning itself with U.S. operations in the South China Sea. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Justice Department said on Monday it would launch a review of the San Francisco Police Department in the wake of a fatal police shooting of a man that spurred protest and demands that the city's police chief be fired. Although the American Civil Liberties Union had asked for a federal investigation into the San Francisco Police Department following the death of Mario Woods at the hands of the police in December, the review will result only in recommendations, not court-enforceable reforms. At the conclusion of the reform, the Justice Department will give San Francisco police a list of best practices it can follow to ensure fairness in its interactions with citizens. San Francisco police will then report back to the Department of Justice on a periodic basis to show that it is following the practice. Other police departments, such as that of Baltimore, have asked the Department of Justice to conduct similar reviews of their policies following accusations of discrimination. Protests have flared in San Francisco over the fatal shooting on December 2nd of Woods, which was filmed by bystanders and described by San Francisco's public defender as unnecessary. Demonstrators have repeatedly called for Police Chief Greg Sear's ouster. In video recorded by onlookers, officers could be seen with their weapons pointed at Woods, who was standing with his back against the wall of a building. In the video, Woods does not seem to be holding anything when he is shot multiple times, although police have said they recovered a kitchen knife. Sear has said that Woods was a suspect in a stabbing, that he was holding a knife, and was a threat to officers who had tried to subdue him with pepper spray and beanbag rounds. His family filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city in December for wrongful death, describing his killing as a horrific public execution. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
While waiting to interview for a web consultant position with local marketing firm Bizco, applicant Ryan Ehrlich told Onion reporters he wasn't entirely sure he was dynamic enough for his prospective employer.
When I first saw that the agency was looking for a leader willing to contribute as a valued member of the team, I thought I was the perfect fit. But the more I think about it, the less I'm sure I'm actually an energetic self-starter. I mean, I think I'm a versatile independent thinker, but honestly, how do you even know for sure?
Ehrlich, who found Bizco's online job posting earlier this week, went on to express doubts that he truly possesses the forward-thinking instincts and next-generation idea assets required to work with the fast-paced marketing firm's team of self-starters.
Can I reimagine a brand for a digital landscape? Sure, but do I really have the energy, skills, enthusiasm, and passion to be a part of this dynamic, growth-oriented company? I just don't know. Oh God, who am I kidding? There's no way I'm on the cutting edge.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It is 855-450-FREE. You can call in and you can talk about whatever is on your mind. This live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Chocolate cake. I mean, Johnny Ray.
There was chocolate cake.
And Johnson.
Chocolate cake during the break. So, yeah, in the last segment we were talking, last hour we were talking about a situation in North Carolina where some police officers busted in on a guy who said go get a warrant and ended up shooting him. It was a crazy story, but you can call in about whatever you want to talk about, and let's talk to Sydney calling in from New York. Sydney, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to put out the news. I just went to the freestateproject.org, and I can see that the counter at the moment is at 19,999.
Good
so
grief.
If anybody wants to be that person, now's the chance. I'm not going to do it myself.
Why not?
Well, actually, I have some problems with the Free State Project just as a whole.
Do tell.
I have some.
Let's see if your problems are bigger than mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have some suspicions at the moment because I'm looking at their website, and it seems like in as soon as November of last year, they were at 88%. And if I understand, the project's been around since around 2003 or 2004. Seems to have accelerated tremendously in the past 3 months. It seems a little bit suspicious.
It's a little suspicious, but I mean,
it's the first time they tried advertising on Facebook.
That's not true. They advertised on Facebook before, but this time they're targeting more properly.
Well,
they have somebody who's trained. Well, the problem is
if you're advertising online and not targeting your ads, you're foolish.
Okay, but people don't know how to do it.
Right.
They found somebody who knows how to target ads, and he's targeting the ads, and sure enough, now it works.
Right.
It's scalable, and so that's the story, Sydney. The story is they're doing Facebook advertising, and you can choose to believe it or
So
not.
let me
believe
modify my statement. It's the first time that they're doing targeted Facebook
it.
advertising.
That's right.
Because non-targeted advertising.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not a participant myself. I think it would be awesome if the last 1,000 participants would just come out in the open. Maybe, this is the first time I'm calling Free Talk Live. Maybe call Free Talk Live and let's have a discussion now that we're about to hit 20,000 participants, and people can start discussing on where they're going to move, how they're going to move.
They're posting all about it all online.
There's a lot of people posting. I mean, I've seen
tons
a
of
whole
people like, I just
bunch of
joined.
people.
It's crazy. There's so much conversation.
If it's a conspiracy, it's a pretty thorough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's great to see that it's finally about to achieve its goal. Hopefully tonight will be the night.
Well, what I'd point out here, this is where I'm going to call BS on it, Sydney.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting it stopped one person short, and tomorrow is the day of the
press conference.
The press conference.
But they just might have the final signer.
Are they saving us? They're saving a spot for Donald Trump.
Even more suspicious. Yeah. Well, I was kind of like reserving myself, thinking maybe I would sign on one day. It'd be at 19,999, like it is at the moment, and I would be that guy. But I'm actually gonna hold off. So I thought I'd call you guys for the first time.
Well,
and just let all your viewers know.
What I'd say about the Free State Project, personally, this is what I think: is I think the 20,000 number has been irrelevant for a half a decade, if not more. I don't think that it matters. The Free State Project is getting to 20,000. The things that I had hoped to see the Free State Project do, it has done already. The things that I had hoped that it would achieve, it has done already. In my mind, these are the things I was expecting.
You're strange.
We have a 20%. 20% of the people in the New Hampshire State House are nominally libertarian, as per the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, and that means that we have a functional libertarian veto. Few bills can get through that are, largely conservative or largely liberal.
I'll be happy when prostitution and gambling are legalized, the food and meals tax is removed, and property tax in New Hampshire is eliminated.
I think you're a long way from eliminating property tax, pal. That's fine.
Tax is gonna be the hardest.
Yeah. That's why I said them all in that order, by the way. That was from easiest to hardest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what any of these one things will bring. Right? Like, what would it be like if you legalized prostitution in an entire state all in one day?
Nevada.
Nevada has
in New England.
Prostitution only legal in counties where there isn't gambling.
Right. Well, time to combine it.
Who knows
Let's
what it
see
would
what
look
happens.
like.
I mean,
Thanks so much for taking my call, guys. I'm
Thanks,
gonna
Sydney.
get off here.
Sorry
but,
to keep you, pal.
I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Hope we
Get
get
outta
to talk to
here.
you soon. Well, I didn't want to keep him. I didn't realize he was going to keep on talking. I was already clicking. 855-450-3733.
I mean, just economically, I think it's you'd have an explosion, and I think that's freedom in general is always going to push things in that direction.
I think you would have a huge explosion if you legalized marijuana in New Hampshire, like they did in Washington and Colorado. We can see what,
but
would
not
happen.
after it's legalized everywhere else first.
Right. Well, then it's not an explosion. Then at that point, you're just keeping the people in New Hampshire who smoke weed from going over to Vermont and getting their weed.
We've got Maggie Hassan who thinks she's cooler than all of basically the majority of New Hampshire.
It's Maggie Hassan.
Hassan.
On NPR, they always call it Hassan.
Maggie Al Hassan.
So, yeah, I got to say that I'm excited that we're hitting the number. I have intellectually known that I didn't think that the 20,000 number was that relevant for a pretty long period of time. But the Free State Project isn't about signing up on the internet for something. I mean, anybody who has one working finger can sign up for the Free State Project. And that's not it's not accomplishment of any sort whatsoever.
How many calories does it take to click that button?
Nothing. Yeah, like a tenth of a calorie. Right?
It's like that Tic Tac commercial.
There you go. You got what I was going for.
And so no big deal signing up for the Free State Project. The Free State Project is about picking up your life and moving to New Hampshire because you want to create a place where there's less government intrusion, people enjoy more liberty, that kind of thing. It's about that commitment level. And it remains to be seen how many of the people who have signed up throughout the years are willing to move. I've seen lots of people move who haven't signed up, and I've seen lots of people sign up who have no intention of moving.
Right.
So what's the number of people who signed up and will move? And it doesn't really matter if they signed up.
There's also a massive number of people who have left, some of which who are coming back, but there's also that number.
Yeah. Well, the people that have come prior to the move are irrelevant as far as the Free State Project goes.
Not if they signed
but
up.
are highly relevant. Well, if they all they have to do is come back and work in maximum whatever.
Yep,
but what
true.
does come back mean? Does it mean is the Free State Project a project that guarantees that you will never take a vacation from New Hampshire? Does it mean that you will never leave? I mean, is that what it means, Johnson? No. So you can leave New Hampshire for a couple of weeks, and that's fine?
But I also don't think the counter should stop at 20,000 by any stretch of the imagination.
No, what it should do at this point is the counter should be combined with the Friends of the Free State Project counter, and then they can immediately jump the number up, because all those people are Free Staters too. And then anybody can sign up as a Free Stater, if that's what they want to do, in-state or out-of-state, and they can run the number up if that's what they want to do.
Friends of the Free State Project, they're not Free Staters if they're not in the state, right? Or is a friend in-state? I thought you're...
Maybe it's maybe they can figure out a way to make in-state friends or something like that. But
I don't
as
think
far as
if
I'm
you're out of
concerned,
state and you consider yourself a friend of the Free State Project and you never have any intention of moving, sorry, that shouldn't count towards any code of
I don't care about the counter.
The Friends of the Free State, my understanding, is somebody who cannot be a Free Stater because they already live here.
A friend,
Well, that should
you can
be
be a
counted.
friend outside the state too. And
Okay.
Johnson's right on that. But the counter should, I think they should just get rid of it. The counter's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I disagree completely.
We're obsessed with counters. The Free State Project is already successful. Would you move to a place, Johnson, would you move to a place they have 20% of the lawmaking body is populated by libertarians?
Yeah, that's you're making a good argument there, but I still think that you should be counting, and you should, we should have a general idea of how many people are
The
coming
count is always wrong.
Well, yeah, that's true
So
too.
why put up lies?
That's true. These are fair points, but again, I want to know how many people who are putting their signature to that document.
I don't. I think it just increases the conspiracy theories.
And there's also there are also tons of ways that we could make this more accurate, and I'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit here, because I've got ideas as to how they could easily make a counter that's a lot more accurate.
855-450-3733. Your thoughts on the Free State Project. We are all movers for the Free State Project here on the show tonight here in New Hampshire. You can find it out more at freestateproject.org. The number is 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309.
It's Free Talk Live. Johnson is going to tell us how to fix the Free State Project. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for, 13 years now. And
not to fix the Free State Project, to fix the counters.
Okay, hold on just a second. I want to tell you about, it's getting to be Valentine's Day. And at Valentine's Day, we've got to deal with Sherry's Berries. And the reason we have this deal is because this is among the best culinary experiences you're ever going to have in your life. I've had chocolate-covered berries before, and they're always good. But Sherry's Berries are even better. They actually reject a large number of berries, and they go to homeless centers wherever they're at. And I have never had, how when you buy berries in the store, about half of them are sour? Not Sherry's Berries. All of them are sweet, delicious, premium berries that are dipped in chocolate, whether it's white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. They are gorgeous to look at, and they're delicious. So you can go wrong on Valentine's Day. You can get the wrong gift. It is quite possible, gentlemen. You can't go wrong with Sherry's Berries. Now, let's not forget, I don't know if any of you, this is what it was like for me on Valentine's Day. My mother always got me a Valentine's Day gift, so I get her one, and she thinks it's great. My mother loves getting a Valentine's Day gift from me. This, gentlemen, is a good way to get on Mom's good side, and this is the side of Mom that you wish to be on. So, not only should the girlfriend get Sherry's Berries, but Mom should too. And what you should do is you should take advantage of because they have the packages starting at $19.99, so that's a 40% savings already. But for $10 more, you can double the berries, and that makes it even a larger savings. And that's just the right amount to get. I can tell you, I have gotten the double order of Sherry's Berries, and it's the right amount because that way you can share. And if you only get the single order, you want to eat them all yourself. You don't want that. You want the person to share them with you or a loved one or something like that, and that's the way to do it. And if you want to even get more mileage out of it, send them to work. If you send them to where they work, then not only do you tell them that you love them, tell everybody in the office that you love them, and they feel that much more loved. It's Sherry's Berries. You can visit berries.com. That's BERRIES.com. In case you don't know how to spell berries, BERRIES.com. What you do is you click on the microphone. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the page, and there you type in FTL. So it's berries.com. Click the microphone, enter my code, FTL. That's how you get the savings. You order today. You can call them at 866-FRUIT-02. 866-FRUIT-02. Berries.com, code FTL. Johnson, how are you going to fix the Free State Project counter?
So what I would have for a counter, now that we're going to have triggered the move, what I would do for a counter is, now this is a counter that wouldn't really have been feasible to do prior to triggering the move, because this is a counter that would underrepresent the number of people that are here in New Hampshire. And essentially what I would like to see...
That's a terrible idea.
No.
Why would you want fewer people represented?
Because now we're not necessarily trying to represent that number to trigger a move and get as many people as we possibly can. And now we want to know how many people are here and qualified, and we're trying to get that number up as high as possible. Active people. We want to know how many people are active and doing things. That's the number that we want to know about now, right? Why? Because that's the number that's impressive. That's the number that
Why do I want to impress anybody?
Because we're still trying to get more signers.
No, I'm not. Well, I don't want.
You're not.
I think
I am, and I think a whole lot of other people are. So
what do I
don't
want
care.
more signers for? The Free State Project is like the part of it. Part of the value is the people operating within the political sphere don't necessarily want to be known as Free Staters. Many of them don't want.
I'm not asking them to be known as Free Staters.
Well,
so
the more Free Staters you have on your little, the higher your little counter is, the more it increases the conspiracy theories around. I wonder if that person's a Free Stater.
Cares?
I wonder if that person's a Free Stater.
Who cares?
I care.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter.
I don't want any counter.
Nobody's being identified just because
the counters down.
Nobody's being identified because there's a counter. So what I would suggest is that there be a counter where people have to regularly check in, let's say once a year, and say, "Hey, I'm still here in New Hampshire." They just check a little box, and if they're registered, they're a registered signer on the Free State Project website. They go, they check a box, and that way we have a tally of people who are actively saying, "I'm still here in New Hampshire every year." Now, that could still be a lie. I mean, that could still be a number that's not going to be real, but I don't think very many people are going to go.
What if I'm on vacation when they send me the email to remind me with that to click the box that I'm still here? Then I can't legitimately do it. And then when I come back from vacation, I've forgotten.
Why couldn't you still legitimately say you still live in New Hampshire?
What does live mean? If I'm alive and not in New Hampshire, I do not live in New Hampshire.
You're just being contrary and ridiculous.
I just am not interested in counters for the Free State Project.
Well, and you're wrong.
I have had many years of problems with
I
counters.
hope other people will call in and agree with me and tell you stink.
The number's 855-450-3733. For me, what the Free State Project is about is moving to New Hampshire, whether you signed up or not, and then getting active for what you believe human freedom's about. And
no one should know about it ever. It's like Manchester.
Free State Project.
I just made so many people mad.
The Free State Project has become, Free Stater has become a pejorative in New Hampshire. Why would you want to paint people with a pejorative?
Sure, if you live in Keene, it's a pejorative.
Well, I don't know where else it's not. I don't know the answer.
There are other places where people are actually, are fond of Free Staters. There are some places like that, and it's not everyone who hates Free Staters, Mark.
I'm not claiming
do
they
I have to fill in for Ian? Jesus.
I'm not claiming they do. All I'm claiming is that I've heard it used as a pejorative many times. So, why bother?
Certainly there are some people that will use it as a pejorative. I'm not concerned with those people, and neither should you be.
Well, I suspect those people will have to find a new place to live at some point.
What percentage of these 20,000 signers do you guys think are going to move? I predict 7.5%.
Okay.
I predict it doesn't matter of those 20,000 because we should continue the counters and continue getting people to sign up so that we could get 200,000 signers, because I think that that's absolutely feasible.
I don't know why you would want 200,000 signers.
So that when only 7.5% of them move, we have over 20,000 here.
Well, if somebody wants to register on a website...
Sorry, that math was wrong, but we have over, 17,000 here.
So the... First off, Johnny Ray, we have 1,900 movers already.
Right.
Out of 20,000. That's nearly 10%.
Yeah, what's your point?
My point is, as the Liberty
you've already
janitor,
undershot.
You're well employed.
So you think it's going to be more like 15 or 20%?
I would hope that we get to 4,000, 5,000, but I don't particularly care about the numbers being counted. What I think the results are real things happening, not counters on the internet. And real things, to me, is legislation or people pushing back against the police state in some way, which it isn't so bad here in New Hampshire, frankly. More freedom being afforded to the people of New Hampshire. Most of that comes legislative, whether we like it or not. Media being produced here, that kind of thing. Those are the things that I'm concerned with. I would like to see people not concentrate in one or two particular areas. I would like to see them move and spread out more. But, that's my particular preference. I know that there are plenty of people in Grafton and New Hampshire and Keene and the Free Coast area that all want to see people move there. So.
It's funny you say we don't have a police state here. And Keene has its own armored personnel carrier.
So does Manchester. So does just about every other city in America. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Every once in a while you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon. through saveatpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We've been talking about the Free State Project. Looks like the Free State Project is one little signer away from 20,000. It's a pretty impressive day for the Free State Project, and we're excited about it.
Either that or it's, probably 50, 100, 150 over 20,000 by
I
now.
think it is. Personally, that's my my belief is that tomorrow's the press conference. So let's have the final signers sign. It's Johnson Rice from Melbourne, Florida. I don't know why I said Melbourne.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, whatever. That's what my theory is. But you can give them a little latitude for holding back a few signers. Big deal. That's I'm not that shocked by it. But it's a big, monumentous day. And today in New Hampshire, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about Bitcoin on the NPR station. It's called NHPR here, and one of the things that they were talking about, sort of the blockchain technology and that kind of thing, is why would people use Bitcoin? And the guy being interviewed didn't have a particularly good reason. Well, let me ask you this. If you could use Bitcoin and save 25, 30, 35% on pretty much everything you bought throughout your week or your month, would you be willing to buy some Bitcoin and save 25 or 30%?
Yes.
Because that's exactly what you can do over at saveatpurse.com. That's saveatpurse.com. What it is an interface with Amazon that allows you to have huge savings on the things you buy. And Amazon pretty much has everything that you need to buy. There's a few things like, I don't know, fresh produce and your mortgage payment. I think you can't really make those through Amazon. But pretty much everything else you can save 30% is a pretty fair number. Saveatpurse.com. Saveatpurse.com. They actually have ways for you to get Bitcoin there. There's a bit of a markup on it, and I don't recommend it, but that's you can do it through Coinbase if that's what you want to do. Let's go to Bo calling in from Florida. Bo, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, so I'm curious, what exactly fueled this debate about the counter? I mean, as I see it, we reached the goal, and the counter is relevant that you can just leave it there. It just says 20,000 out of 20,000 reached. Whoopee! All right, we got it. Why take it down or why add another? I mean, I can see setting another goal.
I'm fine with leaving it at 20,000 just right there on the website if that's what they want to do.
Some people, both feel like that paying attention to the counter has stopped other activity from going on. Like people are just marking time, waiting for the.
Just today, the Pork Buddies thing was launched by Randy Clemens. There's this is stuff that's already been active and been going on for quite a while now. I would say, if you for instance, if you want to take Johnson Rice's idea, set another goal and be like, hey, so we've reached our goal. We'd love to have more.
I don't even think it needs to be necessarily another goal. I just want to see the counter just stay in place and continue to go up as a sign of continued growth and as a reflection of continued growth. I like, my idea for an additional counter is just one to get, something that's a little bit more accurate. But with the existing counter, I'd just like to see it continue to collect signers. Just continue doing what it's doing. Collecting, it's just a reflection of only positive growth. There's no down to that counter. It's only up. They don't ever remove anyone. So I'd like to see there be one counter that is sort of self-removing people. That may be a more accurate counter, and then the original counter, which is just always going up.
I'm sick of counters. I've been living too long.
Well, you don't have to pay attention to it anymore.
The tyranny of counters.
You don't have to pay attention to the counters at all. You just won't be counted in my cool counter.
What's your solution, Bo?
My solution. Well, my solution would be just go about creating the systems that you want to see in place. For instance, if you want to have this community, build your community. If you want to come to New Hampshire to start a business because it's more business friendly, do so. If you want to change things by policy, but I want to follow up to your question with another question. For instance, what do you expect the FSP to do from here on out? Is it just now an accountability program to make sure that the people who sign these statement of intent they actually move?
To me, the Free State Project should morph into a libertarian chamber of commerce for the state of New Hampshire.
I absolutely agree.
It should
totally agree.
Talk about. It should just be an organization that says, "Move to New Hampshire. Here's why. It's really awesome." That way, because what the Free State Project has been doing at this point is two different things. And when you chase, two targets, you're going to miss both of them. You do one thing and do it well. What it's been trying to do up to this point is A, get people to sign, and B, get them to move. Let's just concentrate on B and forget about A, and then we'll be successful. Hey, everybody, this is why New Hampshire's awesome. Blow the trumpets, and move here if you want more liberty in your life. Stay in California if you want medical weed or whatever. Just whatever. That's what you do. Bo, thanks for the call.
I agree with you about the whole Chamber of Commerce thing, but I do think that the numbers should just still be tallied. I don't think that necessarily there should be programs to continue to try and push people to move. I think the fact that we've hit the 20,000 does that by itself. But I do think that counter should still be in existence, and people should still be able to sign the statement of intent and still be able to move. I don't think I don't think that necessarily constitutes pushing in a whole program to get people to move. It's just allowing people to still be part of what's going on here.
I'm sure some people will come up with some good ideas. At this point, running the numbers down because people don't want to play your little counter game.
That's a separate counter. That's a separate idea.
Fine. James calling in from Massachusetts. James, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, how you guys doing?
All's well, sir.
Yes, I listened to your show about a week ago, and I think you guys were talking about the whole Cantwell situation. And
you're going to have to bring us up to speed because we've got probably different hosts on and that sort of thing. It's Free Talk Live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
I was there, but these two guys weren't there.
Okay, yeah, you guys were talking about how you're trying to appeal to more than just like the one specific demographic. And Mr. Freeman, he made a nice and passionate defense of trying to appeal to everyone. And I just kind of wanted to call in and say thanks to him because I'm African American. I live here in Mass right now. I'm hoping to get back up in New Hampshire. I'm going to law school down here, and I enjoy the fact that there are people out there who actually understand and actually feel that it's not just for one particular group of people. I mean, I know lots of people who are like me within my community who are interested in hearing the liberty message. It's just a matter of, people being willing to talk to us,
Sure. James, have you ever come to New Hampshire and kind of hung out with some people from the Free State Project?
I lived up in New Hampshire actually for 3 years before I got into law school and came down to Mass. I never actually hung around with too many people from the Free State Project. I actually I went out to a Students for Liberty conference and over at Harvard like last year, and I met Mr. Mateus, who I guess works with the Free State Project, but other than him, not really.
Okay. Yeah, I was just hoping that we could, because the thing is once people come here, they can get a little taste of what it's like to hang out with some Free Staters. Usually they're like, yeah, now I get it. I feel welcome, and that it just changes everything for them. But I can totally see what it might be like, because it looks like a bunch of white people talking about the things that are important to them.
You mean I can have a conversation without not thinking about every single word I say because I'm going to offend the person who I'm talking to because I might say something that's politically incorrect to them?
Yeah. It hopefully is an experience where one feels more free to talk about the things that we care about. But I do think we have a messaging issue in that particular area, James, and I really appreciate the call. Please continue calling back.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
As your body ages, there's a 10% decline in your ability to repair each passing decade after the age 28. By age 40, your ability to repair from demanding manual labor, exercise, or a stressful desk job has declined by 12%. By using One World Whey, you supercharge your body's ability to repair and eliminate inflammation. Our unique frequency-encoded whey protein, coupled with our high-quality whey, improves your cell's ability to make protein, which is to say, repair itself.
My name is Jonathan Wright, and I'm 40 years old. I recently went from a desk job to a manual labor job. Normally, I'm worn out. With energy-enhanced One World Whey, I now recover so quickly that I can perform very hard work all day long. I use Energy Enhanced One World Whey for breakfast and lunch, and I experience less hunger throughout the day. I have a 30% increase in energy, and I just feel better. I plan to make Energy Enhanced One World Whey a permanent part of my lifestyle.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Why are you playing a slot machine sound for an online poker site?
Do you have a poker sound effect? Because we have a new advertiser, swcpoker.eu.
Brought to you by the same guys that did seals with clubs.
Now they're called swcpoker.eu. It's Bitcoin Poker 2.0. They have lots of new games, including Chinese poker. The Krill leaderboard is active now. It's Bitcoin Poker from the brand you trust, swcpoker.eu.
Get on over to swcpoker.eu and start playing now.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Johnson.
Yep, Ian is off at a board meeting this evening for the, the local television station. He helps them with that. So you can call in and talk about whatever you want, but there's an interesting story, I think, coming out of Detroit. Apparently, there's a topless bar in Detroit that has a relatively regular event called a Dwarf Toss. And people are signing a petition to stop them from doing this. Now, I can't say that I consider it to be the most empathetic thing in the world to have a dwarf toss. But if the dwarf or little person or midget or whatever it is that particular person prefers to self-identify as, I don't care. If that person is getting paid and paid sufficiently to participate in the dwarf toss, and other people are not being forced to toss dwarves, then I got nothing to say about it.
Amen. That's an open and shut case, Mark.
It's open and shut. It's just that easy, isn't it? But I'll read you the story.
It's called voluntary interaction. It's okay.
It's completely okay, right? Like, it's like prostitution, only more politically incorrect.
Who owns that dwarf's body? Does the dwarf own it?
Or do the petitioners that don't want the dwarf to be able to be tossed for money, like, thanks so much for all your help, ladies and gentlemen, now I can't get a job.
Yeah, you've taken that money away from me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how a dwarf toss works. Do you have some kind of catapult? Do they fall into a bed of feathers? I don't know how it works.
I think in the instances that I've witnessed it on TV, they have a Velcro wall and a Velcro suit, and you throw the dwarf on the wall.
Okay, well, I don't suspect the person's doing it and getting hurt. I mean, but people play football and get a lot of money to get in the equivalent of like 3 car wrecks every day,
right?
Every week. Like the running back, the way they get hit. Have you ever seen the quarterbacks get hit? Those guys get smeared. Go on. While driving down Ford Road in Detroit, drivers might do a double take when they see a sign posted outside the Toy Chest strip club that reads, "Dwarf Toss returns." This topless bar plans to hold a contest where people throw a little person up against a soft Velcro wall. It is enraging thousands of people, including the Little People of America. As the Little People of America community, we have worked so hard for such a long time to make sure little people aren't treated as objects, that we are people first and little second, and this dwarf tossing objectifies us. It makes little people objects, says Denise Wood, the head of the Motor City chapter. A petition circulating at the end of these type of games has already more than 3,000 signatures. 7 Action News tried to contact the Toy Chest owner, who apparently will hold a similar contest in his Windsor strip club over the weekend, and he's not returned our calls. But a member of Little People of America say that they do not understand how others can find this event amusing. What's the point of tossing a person?
They don't even understand it, so why are they getting involved? Shut your face. You don't know what you're talking about. You just admitted it. Like, we don't know. I don't understand why anybody can appreciate this, let alone the people who are actually involved, like the little person who wants to be thrown.
Yes. Well, I guess the question that I would have for Denise or anybody else who's a member of Little People of America, and I don't have any problem, like, you want to call yourself a little person, you want to call yourself a dwarf, you want to call yourself a midget, that's fine by me. And you want to participate in whatever activity you do. But the question is the kind of the question I have when people call in, specifically women call in and say that prostitution should be illegal, is would you allow someone to toss you, if it wasn't going to hurt, against a soft Velcro wall for $100,000? And if the answer is yes, that you would allow yourself to be tossed one time and in a way that did not hurt you physically or cripple you for $100,000, then you're already a participant. They just haven't met your price yet.
Right.
You are a tossed dwarf. You just have not. We're just negotiating price at this point, because if you'll do it for $100,000, you won't do it for $1. It's some number in between.
Well, that's exploitation. Blah.
What does exploitation even mean? It's just a term for people that describe someone else's job. That's all it is. And that's
it
what's
really
going
is
on
someone
here.
else's job, because guess what? Whatever you do for work, you're being exploited. If you're running your own business, you're exploiting your customers, and they're exploiting your labor.
Yeah, what does exploitation even mean? Exploitation's just
using.
It's just it's just terminology to describe a business arrangement that you don't like.
Whenever you're having sex, you're being exploited sexually.
There are people that believe that too.
Yeah. You should feel guilty because, whatever
there's some
religion
nuts.
you believe in is somebody's looking down on you and watching your every action.
There are nuts that specifically will that distinguish between what they call sex and then POV, penis, PIV, penis in vagina sex. So that
POV is point of view.
Yeah, POV is point of view. Yeah, but you could have PIV, POV. Their point is that it's always rape, it's always exploitation. One person putting having sex in the normal, what I would call the traditional sexual fashion, is always rape.
But
and that's
it was
because those
raped
people
by
are nuts.
engraved invitation.
Sorry, it doesn't even matter.
Ayn Rand line.
It doesn't even matter if it's engraved invitation. They say that somebody who wants it is just exploited to the point that they don't know any better. And that's what the idea is here for this person that's being, look, they're not having a dwarf toss without a little person participating. That little person is being compensated to a level that they find sufficient, and it may not be a level that I find sufficient.
What if that level of compensation is actually none? I'm sure that there are people out there that would be like, yeah, dude, let's do this, woo!
There could be. I mean, I suppose I would let somebody, like if there was like a catapult that would throw you up against the wall, and again, it wouldn't hurt. I assume that we're not talking about mortal injury.
With just Velcro on it. Yeah,
if I would probably do it, okay, I'll dress up in your suit and get thrown up one time.
There was some sort of like game show or something in the past where it was like grown people that were doing this, and there was a trampoline. They would flip and like land upside down on like the Velcro wall.
If it's okay for normal sized people that are more than 5'1" and up to do this game, and it's not okay for people under 5'1" to do it, then you are a bigot. That's all you are. And I don't care if you're from the little people of America or whatever. You're just a full-on bigot. And I mean, why is it okay to throw regular people up? Oh, is it because they're getting paid? Okay. What if somebody wants to get paid?
What if somebody's 500 pounds? They're a little hard to toss at that point.
You need a catapult. Look, we have solved these problems.
I think you're getting into the danger zone at that point. I mean, there might be a padding factor on the wall where it's no longer structurally sound.
Well, but you're assuming the same catapult would be used for the dwarf as used for the 500-pound person.
Well, yeah,
it's just like teeter-totters, man. You can adjust these things.
I'm also just worried about the structural integrity of the wall and the tensile strength of the Velcro connections.
I'm not saying that we don't need some people, checking these things out. I get it. I see that there's more danger to fat person tossing than there is to little people tossing.
I'm just saying it might not necessarily make somebody bigoted when there's, there might be some logistical concerns here and some safety and structural and engineering issues.
The only complaints here are whether or not little people get thrown, not whether big people are thrown.
Well, those people are bigots. Yeah, there's no question about that.
There's no question about that. If you're saying that, I guess I can give you a pass if you're saying, oh, look, you're going to have it inspected before you toss the 500-pound lady up there. But, somebody who's complains about little people being tossed is probably going to complain about ladies being tossed, too. So let me ask you this. Is it okay to use the term dwarf in any other context than dwarf toss? Because I feel like dwarf toss, it just isn't the same thing as a little people toss.
I don't know. I never know I think midget is the worst word that you can use. I think that's generally the least acceptable.
Okay.
I thought dwarf and little person were both kind of acceptable, but I don't know. I really.
You know that there's people that say,
if I were small, I think I'd be like, yeah, call me a dwarf. Hell yeah.
Well, I knew an Indian.
But I'm kind of a geek, I'd be like, I'd grow a real long beard.
I knew an Indian guy who wanted us to call him a coolie, which I just thought was the strangest thing in the world. But that was what his preference was, and he was amused by it. And so
that's like what the British officers would call their
right.
Isn't that like a drink made with like cucumber or something?
No, this is somebody who would carry around a bunch of stuff on their head. The natives is the idea, and I think what he was trying to enterprise
coolie was
on
a drink.
No, coolie is not a drink.
No, I know what a smoothie is, but
some jackass out there has probably called their drink a coolie, but that is not what the original terminology was from your youth. I can assure you.
A coolie is a smoothie made with curry.
Yuck. And turmeric. But I mean, if people want to call themselves that, I suppose that's their business. I don't know. Somebody out there wants to self-identify as dwarf.
There's a very, very large contingent of busybodies in the U.S.
It's a fruit drink that comes in a small carton. It was popular in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the coolie. Yeah.
My mistake.
And those busybodies will meddle in your life whenever they get a chance.
Yeah, there's always somebody who wants to tell you how to live your life. including this person that wants to get paid to get thrown up against a Velcro wall. 855-450-3733.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. On Tuesday, gold is even at $1,130 per ounce. Silver is up 2 cents at $14.42 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $373 US. We have plenty of new 2016 Silver American Eagles and Canadian Maple Leaf coins in stock. Get yours online at rrbi.co or give us a call at 800-874-9760.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene and the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, February 2nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,126 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $376. Antiwar.com reports, according to the Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission responsible for overseeing the ceasefire in South Sudan, the nation's troops carried out a massacre in October in Unity State where they imprisoned 50 civilians in metal shipping containers, suffocating them to death. Reports of a large civilian death toll were investigated for months by the commission, who concluded it was the South Sudanese military that forced the civilians into the containers. This was one of several incidents in the report of civilians being killed by both government and rebel troops. South Sudan became an independent state in 2011 and fell into civil war in 2013 when the president accused his former vice president of an attempted coup. Supporters of the former vice president became the rebels, and fighting has raged ever since. Though there is a ceasefire in place now, both sides continue to accuse each other of violations, and there are constant concerns of the fighting resuming. Given how bloody the war has been so far, it's a concern with potentially huge ramifications for the fledgling nation. The Daily Decrypt is a Monday through Friday newscast about all the best news in cryptocurrencies and peer-to-peer networks. Know what's hot in the world of digital money, borderless trade, and cutting-edge communications. Available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook video. The Daily Decrypt is the news of the future. UPI reports diplomatic tensions are spiraling between China and Japan as territorial disputes show no signs of easing, and China has confirmed it has arrested a Japanese national for espionage. Japan's defense ministry said it has assembled a new squadron, the 9th Air Wing, of 40 F-15 fighter jets to protect Tokyo's claims over the disputed chain of islands known as the Caucus. The squadron is the first to be established in 51 years by Japan's Air Self-Defense Force and includes 1,500 crew members. In January, Japan had warned of stronger responses to Chinese ships sailing near the islands, and Tokyo designated waters within a 12 nautical mile radius of disputed islands as its sovereign maritime zone. A Chinese warship reportedly sailed near the Senkaku Islands last November. The announcement comes at a time when Japan is increasingly aligning itself with U.S. operations in the South China Sea. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Justice Department said on Monday it would launch a review of the San Francisco Police Department in the wake of a fatal police shooting of a man that spurred protest and demands that the city's police chief be fired. Although the American Civil Liberties Union had asked for a federal investigation into the San Francisco Police Department following the death of Mario Woods at the hands of the police in December, the review will result only in recommendations, not court-enforceable reforms. At the conclusion of the reform, the Justice Department will give San Francisco Police a list of best practices it can follow to ensure fairness in its interactions with citizens. San Francisco Police will then report back to the Department of Justice on a periodic basis to show that it is following the practice. Other police departments, such as that of Baltimore, have asked the Department of Justice to conduct similar reviews of their policies following accusations of discrimination. Protests have flared in San Francisco over the fatal shooting on December 2nd of Woods, which was filmed by bystanders and described by San Francisco's public defender as unnecessary. Demonstrators have repeatedly called for Police Chief Greg Sears' ouster. In video recorded by onlookers, officers could be seen with their weapons pointed at Woods, who was standing with his back against the wall of a building. In the video, Woods does not seem to be holding anything when he is shot multiple times, although police have said they recovered a kitchen knife. Sears has said that Woods was a suspect in a stabbing, that he was holding a knife, and was a threat to officers who had tried to subdue him with pepper spray and beanbag rounds. His family filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city in December for wrongful death, describing his killing as a horrific public execution. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new report from the Department of Health and Human Services urges Americans to do something, anything at all. According to the study, getting off your ass and doing any sort of physical or mental activity could have positive health effects.
Look, we're not expecting you to go to the gym. That's clearly not happening. Just walk outside for a few blocks and then come back home. You can bring potato chips if that's what it'll take.
For many years, the health department has encouraged Americans to watch less TV, but this report reverses that, saying, quote, watch whatever the hell you want, but at least pay attention and remember who the characters are, or just admire the colors. Colors are pretty. It's expected that following the advice in this report will cut down on the largest cause of death among Americans, laying on your back until your mouth fills up with saliva and you drown. Following the report's release, the most popular exercise now seems to be masturbating, but researchers warn that if you do it in public, stick to the sidewalk or you might get hit by cars.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we are coming to you live this Tuesday evening. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Johnson.
We have not yet discussed the Iowa caucus numbers, and there's something really strange happened at the Iowa caucus on the Democratic side. So last night, and I wasn't on the show last night, so I sat around and I watched local television in Iowa.
You love this stuff.
I don't know.
I don't get people like you and freaking Daryl. He's a freak.
Well, Daryl is Daryl really knows this stuff. I'm just interested. Okay. If you want to know the specifics of things, Daryl takes it as a personal responsibility. I did watch the results, and basically Cruz came in pretty close first to Trump, but Trump. He was the poll numbers were showing that he was going to win, and then he didn't.
Have you guys seen that despicable video of Cruz going around where he's trying to kiss a little girl and she's like, no, ah!
See, I hate that. I hate that video.
God.
And you know why I hate that video?
Why?
Because it misinformed somebody like you. That's his daughter.
Okay.
And she's being a jerk to her daddy.
Okay.
Look, I mean,
that's even worse.
Why is it worse?
Because she doesn't want to be kissed by her father. It's like, come on.
I don't. Well, I mean, in what period of time? How long did he have there to decide that his daughter didn't want to kiss him? Who normally does want to kiss him? 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that video misinforms. It looks really bad, and because it looks really bad and it's Cruz, I don't feel as bad about it. But it's not like he's just kissing on somebody else's daughter. It's his.
Right.
And she's being a pain in the butt. And hey, different families kiss different ways, and it just
So it's not as bad then as Joe Biden, who was doing it to other people's daughters.
Right. The reason you're willing to believe this is because Joe Biden will just go on and give anybody a good old back rub. But I was hoping
on his face.
that Rand Paul would do better than 5%, but he got about 4.5 to 5%, somewhere in there. I think it was as high as 5.2.
Surprised.
Well, it is Iowa. I hope he does better here in New Hampshire, but those
I'm sure he'll get some
results. But I want to talk about what happened between Hillary and Bernie. But first, let's go to the Christian anarchist calling in from, I'm not exactly sure, online. Gene, the Christian anarchist, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Mark.
How are you, sir?
So, good. So I wanted to tell you about the Rand Paul Corvette, which used to be the Ron Paul Corvette, of course, and I drove it around following the Rand Paul appearances in Iowa. Tried to stop at every one. I missed a few, but I managed to drive over around most of the state, and finally got him to sign it yesterday. Signed the hood.
Oh, fun!
So now I have Ron Paul's autograph and Rand Paul's autograph on the hood of the car.
How do you preserve it?
The first one, it kind of faded, and I actually had the hood reprinted with the signature in
it. Okay.
So
I think it's fair to reprint the signature.
Yeah. Now he just signed it, and the wrap people told me that if I'd got it there soon enough, they could have put a clear wrap over the top of it, and that would preserve it. So I'm going to try and do that this week.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So you're supporting Rand Paul, Ron Paul's son. Many people in the liberty community who are, diehards, they don't think Rand Paul's good enough.
He is not. He's scum.
So there you go. You got one.
First of all, yeah.
What do you
first of
think?
all, I'm an anarchist, so I want zero government. I feel that I can support anybody who wants less government than what we have today. And Rand Paul definitely supports less government than what we have today, and he's the only candidate that has that position. I mean, none of the other candidates want less government. They only want to reconfigure where the government power is. They don't want to shrink it at all.
After after Cruz raised his hand to the sky and said Allah Akbar or whatever he said last night, he did say specifically that he wants small government.
Yeah, he said that, but he's lying because he had an opportunity to vote on a budget that would have provided for cuts in the government, and he didn't vote on it.
Yeah, I remember the George Bush campaign in 2000. There were yard signs out, "Want smaller government? Vote George Bush."
Mm-hmm.
And he was in charge of the White House when there was a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate for 6 years, and the government grew about 60%.
Right. So Republicans, Democrats, they both want things. They just want different things, and that none of them want to cut the government except Rand Paul. And he's the only one. He's like his father, like Ron Paul. He's adopted a lot of the same principles, and he's submitted budgets that include cuts, and people like Ted Cruz vote against them. So he's really the only person that's for less government, and less government means more liberty. It's like putting two things on opposite ends of a scale. The bigger government you have, the less liberty you have. The more liberty you have, the smaller government you have.
And Rand Paul's version, unlike Ron Paul, Rand Paul's version of less government is signing the NDAA. That's Rand Paul's version of less government.
Okay, so we can nitpick all day long about what things I might disagree with Rand on, and there are a few, but what the hell good does that do? That's what I'd like to ask you. Are we getting smaller government by you bad-mouthing Rand Paul?
You're not going to get smaller government by voting in the presidential election, period.
Well, I agree. As long as you don't get Rand Paul as the winner of that election, you're wasting your damn time. There's no point in even showing up. Because everybody else wants to grow government, which shrinks liberty. Bottom line.
This is why I feel my obligation. I am obliged. I don't think it's quite as far as an obligation, but I feel obliged to vote for the person who's going to give me provide people with the smallest amount of government. That means, to me, harm the fewest amount of people in whatever election there is. And sometimes it's really difficult to figure out who that person is. But in the case of Rand Paul, what are my other choices? What am I going to be doing? Because here's the things the criteria that I find that would require me not to vote for Rand Paul. A, there would have to be somebody in the Republican presidential primary who's a better choice than Rand Paul, and I haven't found that person. And B, I would have to be doing something with my time that would be more valuable than voting. Now, some people would say taking a nap is more valuable. All right, okay. Eating a bowl of ice cream. Well, I can eat a bowl of ice cream and vote. And this is
dwarf tossing.
Dwarf tossing, right? Like I could probably participate in dwarf tossing, eat ice cream, and vote all in the same day. So to me, it's like my day isn't that full that I couldn't take a little time to head down to town hall and spend, I don't know, a couple of bucks in gas, tops. Not even that. $1 in gas to go down to town hall, vote, talk to a few folks that I don't get to talk to very often, and then come back home. For me, it's not that big of a deal.
If any of you people want to see some of the things that I posted, I haven't posted much because I don't do Twitter and Facebook much. But if you go on Twitter and you search hashtag Rand Paul Corvette, you'll see I tried to put that hashtag in everything that I posted.
It's a good idea.
I did have some pictures there. But
was that from around Iowa?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wound up volunteering to go to one of the caucus locations and talk for Rand. And I did that in Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Was that last night?
And yes, that was last night. And I stuck around for the vote count and everything. Rand only got 9 votes out of, and the place was packed. I mean, this was the biggest turnout that they said they've ever seen. The people that were at that particular, I can't speak for all of them. I can only speak for the
Mount Pleasant.
In Mount Pleasant, they were just slammed with people. There were tons of people in there.
Who'd they vote for?
Rand Paul, well, most of them voted for
Cruz or Trump?
Exactly what you saw. Yep. It was Cruz, and it was Trump, and it was Rubio. And then those guys all got in the 40s of vote, 41, 46, something like that. Rand Paul got 9. And I stood up there and I gave a speech for Rand.
Yeah.
And I specifically addressed the older folks in the audience because I'm an older folk. I'm going to be 64 next month. So I said, I see a lot of gray hairs out there, and I'm one too. I explained how old I was and, stuff like that. And then I said, we are destroying our children's future because the debt is going to kill crush our children and our grandchildren.
Thank you for the call.
And
appreciate it, Gene.
Once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Winter has just begun, and are you already tired of being cold? How would you like to never be cold again? This is Dale with Fortress Clothing, and I'm here to tell you, you will never be cold again with Fortress. If you're tired of freezing your butt off, elk hunting, sitting in a tree stand deer hunting, winter camping, fishing, ice fishing, no longer fear the cold. If you snowmobile, ski, snowboard, get Fortress. Sledding with the kids, shoveling the walks, shopping, or if you or your spouse get cold feet at home, get Fortress. If you're stuck outside working in the cold, or find yourself in an emergency situation? Get our winter bug-out bag, and you will never be cold again. Fortress is the answer, so quit complaining and go to fortressclothing.com. It's a mid-layer garment that goes with anything you want to wear. Enter coupon code RADIO and get 20% off any item. Go now while we still have inventory. fortressclothing.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
Cryptocurrency and peer-to-peer tech developments happen fast. Stay in the loop with the Daily Decrypt, a new video channel and podcast that will keep you on top of the latest innovations in crypto finance, security, networking, transportation, and gadgetry like drones and 3D printers. Subscribe to the Daily Decrypt on YouTube and SoundCloud and be an early adopter of the future. The Daily Decrypt.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. You should use it if you think, well, if you have thought about the situation where in last night's caucus, Hillary Clinton won 6 out of 6 coin tosses. Now, what happened was there were ties. And, you know, when you have a caucus situation, there's not that many people that show up. There's going to be some ties. Especially when in the Democratic race, there's only 2 candidates, right? So you've got 2 candidates. People have to choose between one or the other. I understand. What is it? Malloy, whatever his name was, who dropped out last night. I understand he was there. Whatever. Regardless, there were basically 2 candidates. So there were several rooms where it was split 50-50, and people didn't want to move across the aisle. It's like, come on. We can fix this situation by one of you moving sides, and they wouldn't do it. So they had to solve this problem. O'Malley, thank you. With a coin toss. That's the rule. So they flip a coin, and the candidate that wins, basically, the whoever represents Hillary in that room, calls it heads or tails, and the one that wins, they get all the delegates for that particular, the state delegates or whatever for that particular room. And that's just how it goes. They don't split them. This is the rules. So apparently there were 6 times this happened across the great state of Iowa, where they pick corn, and in New Hampshire we pick presidents. They had this happen, and so they had to flip a coin, and all 6 times Hillary Clinton won. So it's less than a 2% chance that this would occur, that somebody would win 6 coin tosses in a row.
Right.
But and people are calling. They're calling shenanigans. It should have been 3 coin tosses one way and 3 coin tosses another way. That would have been sort of statistically what made sense. And nobody would have raised an eye if it was 2 coins tosses one way and 2 coin tosses the other. But it was so close
that if Hillary didn't win those, the way she did, if it was 50-50, Bernie would have won. That's how close it was.
Clinton won 23 delegates and Sanders won 21 delegates.
I thought it was 21 and 21.
Well, what I see is, with everything all wrapped up, that Clinton won with 23 delegates, Sanders 21. That's just according to the Google result.
Gotcha.
Sometimes Google, you do a search and it gives you a bunch of information about something.
I love that. I think Google's doing a really great job. It prevents you from having to go to websites now, so that's what Google wants, right?
Right.
They want to provide you with the information before you went there. So interesting, I guess, that somehow or another she got herself another 2 delegates. So I guess the question is the Clinton war machine ramped up here? I mean, are we spinning on all 8 cylinders? Is she going to bowl Bernie over by hook or by crook? Or is this she just won? She just won fair and square, ladies and gentlemen. What's the big deal? Nothing to see here. Move along. I don't know the answer. And I wouldn't know. I think that it's amazing that Bernie came as close as he did. Last I saw, I would have called it a tie. And I did watch last night, but at some point or another, you got to go to bed. As a matter of fact, this morning when I got up, they didn't have all the delegates hadn't been counted either.
1.56%.
1.56, so 1.5% basically.
Yeah, basically, it's the odds of that. It's 1 over 2 to the power of 6.
Yeah, so unlikely that one would just try it at home. Try winning 5 or 6 coin flips in a row and see how long it takes you to do such a thing.
I've done that with a fake coin before.
Yeah, sure. It can be done.
I've had a coin that had 2 heads on it.
And I don't know. It would not be easy, I would not think. I think the caucuses, to me, are interesting because it shows people that are more dedicated to their point. I believe that if Iowa had a primary election rather than a caucus, that Trump would have done better than Cruz. But because you had the caucus situation where you basically got to drive there and drive back, so you're probably talking about something like 2 to 2.5 hours.
I'm surprised Trump hasn't made the joke in media. One of these days we'll make the caucuses great again.
Yeah, well, there you go. And at this point, no one remembers who comes in second place. You know what I mean?
Right.
Donald, that's something he tweeted out at some point. Thought it was kind of clever. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems fishy to me on both sides, Mark. I don't follow politics, but my impression is that voter turnout has been going down.
It was a record turnout for caucuses.
And down, and down. And yet last night there was a record turnout for caucuses.
Right.
And the way and I don't know, I don't hear anybody boosting Hillary Clinton ever.
Right.
It's only Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. This is all Hillary theater.
But you're in New Hampshire.
I'm definitely with you. If this is where you're going, you believe that this is Hillary theater, that the entire election is being basically driven around the idea of the fact that Hillary's going to win this election.
And that the establishment
has already
gave Cruz the victory over Trump, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely funky.
I do want to talk about those points, but let's go to Armed Truth calling in from California. Armed Truth, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Hillary Sanders situation. I think that Hillary and her campaign, if you look 3 months ago, she was up by 35 points on Bernie just 3 months ago. And I think, from the beginning, she thought this is, the Democrats are just going to give her the nomination. It's her time. She paid her dues, and it's time for Hillary, to where now I think that people – see that she is, a lying, POS, basically a lizard person that, she's a nutcase.
Hey, we lizard people are not claiming that lady. You Earthlings got to take her.
Yeah. But I think, from the beginning, she thought this is my time. And as these scandals have come out, they try to brush off the email scandal like it's nothing, and I don't think she'll get indicted, but I think it hurts her credibility. I think people see how untrustworthy she is, and I think that with Bernie coming out as just a flat-out socialist, and I at least respect him on the fact that he's honest in saying he's a socialist, that a lot of people, especially younger people, I know a lot of, I'm 25, a lot of people my age and younger love him, because he's going to take away student debt. He's going to have the government do this and that. that they're coming out, and more people are seeing that she's a lying, conniving, crazy woman who will do anything to get what's done and will sacrifice anybody in her way. I think the wheels are slowly coming off, and that now the establishment does not want this to happen. They don't want Bernie, just as they don't want Trump. They need someone who they can control, and I think they'll do anything they can. And a 1.5% chance on a coin flip, that's insane. Six coin flips. That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It is a crazy situation. I can't conjecture one way or the other because it is possible, but it's really surprising. Armed Truth, thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. So
who's Bernie going to screw in that whole student loan situation? And student debt. Are the schools going to get screwed? Is the government going to get screwed?
The schools have already been paid. It's the banks.
I'm going to make it free. No, that's not the way that's not the way.
Even if the banks had to write that debt off, they got a whole bunch of money from the federal government to make it, make sense. I'm sorry. That was, I could care less. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Am I wrong? Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project is an agreement among 20,000 participants to move to New Hampshire for liberty in our lifetime. Now almost 95% to our goal, we are creating private solutions to public problems and creating a society that runs on voluntary interactions instead of coercion. we invite you to participate in our cause and be part of our upcoming conference, Liberty Forum 16. Liberty Forum is a premier liberty-oriented conference based in Manchester, New Hampshire, that attracts free thinkers from all over the world. Over the past 9 years, this 3-day conference has grown to attract distinguished speakers and organizations to discuss how to build a better society through free market solutions. This year, our headliner is Edward Snowden, live from Russia. To learn more about attending, exhibiting, and sponsoring this event, please go to nhlibertyforum.com. That's nhlibertyforum.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
So we're kind of wondering if there's some shenanigans that went on at the Iowa caucuses last night, because it does seem pretty odd that Hillary Clinton would take it away like she did. But, you know, Donald Trump, he seems like he could pay anybody if he wanted to. He couldn't manage to come in first. So what happened with Hillary Clinton was apparently there were 6...
But remember, Trump's only in this election for Hillary.
Is that so? Yeah. I don't know. There were 6 of the precincts that were tied. In a tie, they have to flip a coin. She won all 6 coin flips. That's about, the chances of that happening are not high to win 6 coin flips in a row. It should have been 3 and 3, or maybe 4 and 2, but certainly not 6 and 0. So is the fix on the Democratic side? Interesting to know. Now, you guys kind of wondered about Cruz coming in number 1. But Iowa's a pretty conservative place, and Cruz was expected to do well because with the evangelical voter there.
Sure. I heard that he spent a great deal of time there also, or maybe that was Rubio. I get the two of them confused. I'm a bit of a racist.
No, it's Cruz that spent the time there. So I guess the thing that when it comes, the thing about Iowa is that they put up Huckabee, they put up Santorum, and they put up Cruz. Those 3 people have 2 things in common. They're highly religious, and they're not going to win.
And they didn't win.
Yeah, they didn't win or aren't going to win.
Right.
Cruz is just, in my opinion, too religious for the average Republican to put up with. They're just not going to make it. He may do well in South Carolina. I don't know the answer. Everybody's excited about how well Rubio did, because he did almost as well as Trump and Cruz did. And I think that in my opinion, that it showed him that he's likely to be the prospective front runner of it all. And
how's that, Rubio?
Rubio, yeah.
Okay.
Rubio's not as religious, but he's,
I see.
Well,
I see.
Has the other talking points.
He's got some moderate appeal, but he's still getting big numbers in the from the Republican diehards.
Well, in the polls recently, supposedly in the I don't remember which poll it was, but which polling group it was one of the major ones, basically showed which candidates were the most hated, like the most, like had just basically, that the elections are basically driven by
who hates whom the most.
Right, exactly. And Rubio's just one of the least hated.
Yeah, I bet Rand Paul is probably one of the least hated too, just because people don't have the name recognition for him. And I don't know why he would be more hated. I'm just saying that yes, Cruz, Trump, these guys and Clinton have more hateability than the other candidates, in my opinion, and that's, I think, why they're not going to ultimately make it.
I hate Rand Paul the most because he endorsed Romney over his dad.
You feel cheated by Rand Paul because you liked Ron Paul, right?
No, I don't feel cheated at all by Rand Paul. I never put any faith in Rand Paul, so he can do whatever he wants. But the episode that I referenced really spoke to me. I can't respect him after stabbing his dad in the back.
You think he stabbed his dad in the back, or do you think his dad probably, a political creature, a 12-time congressman with whom I would assume he has reasonably good relations, because every time I saw, because I saw Rand campaigning for his dad a great deal, told him, son, this is the right thing to do. this is the way to to move up. So go ahead and do this.
And boy, was he wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, who knows?
I think
It's not like Ron Paul won anything either, and he never got anything passed in Congress.
I think stab him in the back is strong language, maybe too strong, but I think the situation you're describing about his dad, Ron Paul, recommending to him to endorse Romney for pragmatic reasons, I think went down something more like this, that his dad said that Rand Paul came to him and said, I'm considering endorsing Mitt Romney, and they had a discussion at the end of it, Ron Paul said, well, son, if you think that's the best thing to do, then I support you doing that. But I certainly don't think that Ron Paul, who was fighting for a nomination, would advise his son to support his competitor.
Maybe not. But I can tell you that some people say it wasn't worth doing because it doesn't look like he's going to win the presidency. But let's point out that was before he won the Kentucky seat. Isn't that correct?
I don't know what.
There's not many people that get to be senators, so that's a success in and of itself. And if Ron Paul was able to upgrade, his son to senator and therefore have that much more influence, then that's a victory.
So what, was he a rep before then?
His son? No. I would say that he was nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, he was an optometrist. So anyway, as far as it all goes, it doesn't look like Rand's going to steal it away in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm going to vote for him because I think he's the most liberty-oriented choice out there. Yep, it's some conjecture on my part. He has not made it easy for me to look at him as the liberty candidate, but I think he's trying to run cover to some extent.
I don't vote for the lesser evil.
Yeah, well, Ron Paul was the lesser of evil. He would never take a stand on immigration that was entirely pro-liberty. So you did vote for the lesser of two evils if you voted for Ron Paul.
Which I did not.
Okay, fine. Then your vote, which is already statistically insignificant, was insignificant.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Very, very, very much so. I wrote in Mary Ruwart several times.
What, on a Republican primary?
Not in a Republican primary.
Well, that's the only place you would have been able to vote for Ron Paul.
Right.
In a Republican primary.
Right.
So that's the thing, is that we're not talking about a national election here. We're not even talking about a government election. If you're talking about a primary, you're not the argument, the libertarian argument that it's somehow endorsing the system. It's a private organization. It's the Republican Party. Now, you could make the argument that they shouldn't be using public funds for their primary election, and I would agree with you. And there's a lawsuit out that hopefully will come back with some kind of ruling on that relatively soon. But nonetheless, it's a private organization that is going to put up at some point a candidate, and I don't see anything particularly wrong with voting for that candidate.
Actually take it back. I think I may have voted for Ron Paul in a primary.
Yeah,
that's absolutely possible.
So there you go. The caucus.
I know that there were a lot of people who went on to vote for Ron Paul in the presidential election.
One of the things
despite him not winning the primary.
One of the things I thought was interesting about Rubio was he was what they do in these caucuses is first they take the room's temperature, and by that I mean everybody vote, and then everybody gets to talk about then one person gets to talk for each candidate. I think that Rand Paul's the best for this reason, whatever, right? And they get a few minutes, and then they do some shenanigans, and then they vote again. So initially. Basically Rubio was a larger second choice than any other candidate, and I think that is going to give him the mileage that so many of them don't have. You don't have to be first choice; you just have to be less unpalatable than the other candidates, right? Like so, there's if a gun was put to your head, Johnson, and you had to vote for somebody in 6 days or 7 days at the primary, there are some people you'd be like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Or maybe it's cattle. Let's use a cattle
I don't know.
prod.
I feel like the act of putting the gun to my head might be the one thing that just makes me go, I can't do it.
Okay.
But,
Okay, let's use a cattle prod. I'm going to zap you or you have to vote. So, you'll survive it. And however, you can avoid being zapped if you choose to vote for somebody. There's some candidates, right, like maybe Rand Paul, that you would, I'll put a check mark in rather than getting zapped. And there's some candidates you're like, go ahead, tase me, I'm not doing Cruz. Huckabee, I just can't do it. Give me a good zapping. And that's kind of how it is for people because in fact, all elections are basically a choice between the lesser of two evils. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Very few people get their primary choice of who they want to vote for and who they want to vote against. They basically end up being like, I'm scared if that other party gets in power, they're going to do some things that are going to ruin this country, and we'll never be able to turn it back to what it needs to be. And people say that all the time. That's what the election process is about. That's why people get so heated about it, because it's basically a threat. It's a threat on what they imagine life is like now or will be in the future, and it's going to be turned away from that. Don't you think? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
A reclusive deity hasn't written a new book in 2,000 years, and a local rescue dog is adopted for a couple weeks. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, in a devastating blow to the nation's laundry, 16,000 Americans were reportedly stained during the messiest day in U.S. history. Reports confirm that nearly 3,000 citizens received permanent stains on their good shirt from mustard splatter off a dropped hot dog, along with 12,000 cases of spilled coffee and other dark beverages, ruining Americans' pair of hand-wash-only pants. Government officials further indicated that federal assistance for the nation's overwhelmed dry cleaners would be necessary. And in this week's local news, an elderly Rite Aid patron stretches out a conversation about toothpaste to prolong human contact. In other news, artifacts discovered buried in Washington, D.C. suggest humans once passed laws there. A self-centered child blames his parents' divorce entirely on himself. And a night of uninterrupted sleep really throws off a man's entire day.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof form of money to the people, where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom and the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free State Project. We were talking about it during the break. Hitting that 20,000 number. It's all very exciting. It's Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. So apparently, we've just found out.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Daryl W. Perry, our normal weekday main host here, has his investigative skills have uncovered that the sign-up form for the Free State Project has been frozen. You can't sign up any longer. There's 19,999 signers, and you can't sign up to be the last one. And I suspect the reason for that is they're going to have somebody sign tomorrow.
Bureaucratic nonsense.
As the final signer at the press event that Ian and I are going to. Going to have to get up early, and I don't know. He might even wear some shirt with a collar or something. And yeah, I mean, I guess, this is it, right? They've been waiting a very long time to get to this 20,000 number, so they're going to make as big of a deal about it as they can. The New York Times apparently has reported on it. They've reported on the Free State Project a couple of times previously. So, I mean, that's what you do in circumstances like this. If you wanted to be a signer for the Free State Project and you wanted to wait till 19,999 to sign, well, too bad. You missed your opportunity.
Mark thinks you're a BAMF.
Yeah, I do.
You didn't sign up in time.
Right.
You miss out. You're a loser.
Yep, too bad.
See, he hates you.
I guess
I want you to have your chance to be a part of this. Mark just thinks you should stay where you are and be abused by the state.
There's all kinds of sites
forever.
where you can sign up and you can get free junk mail sent to you and stuff like that. Plenty of places to sign up for stuff. Your chances of signing up for the Free State Project are over. Sorry, 20,000 reached. Goodbye. I just,
and Mark was also the one who was the most proponent for the number being just sign people up. It doesn't matter if they really want to move. I don't care.
What I was saying
He's I don't care if the number is fake, but now you've missed your opportunity because we got enough people to sign.
I have been
whether
damaged
or not they are legitimate or not.
I've been damaged emotionally by that counter, and I never want to see it again. 20,000, freeze it right where it is. So tomorrow they're probably going to have some big celebrity or somebody's going to sign, and it's going to be a big deal. And I hope that, that's it. I hope they get a lot of press out of it.
I hope not. I hope they turn that counter back on. I hope nobody famous signs tomorrow, and that people are able to honestly continue to sign and continue to commit to move to, join the Free State Project.
You know how you commit to move to join the Free State Project?
Pack your car.
Yeah, put stuff in your car.
And how is that?
And drive towards New Hampshire.
How are you Free State? How have you joined the Free State Project?
Anybody can be a Free Stater. There are plenty of people in New Hampshire that self-identify as Free Staters. As a matter of fact, if people want to sign up as friends of the Free State Project, Daryl did not, dig that up whether or not you can still sign up as a friend of the Free State Project, which I suspect you can. And at that point, you're still a Free Stater. There are more friends of the Free State Project in New Hampshire than there are Free State Project signers.
Yes.
It's times like this that I like to hearken back to the state motto of the old North State, North Carolina. The state motto being esse quam videri.
Somebody in North Carolina speaks Latin?
Which means to be rather than to seem. Which I love that. I really love that.
I like it.
It applies a little bit to this situation you were talking about. To be would be to be taking action and to be moving, to be the change. But to seem would be clicking something on the internet and sitting at home.
You can still move to New Hampshire, get a New Hampshire address, sign up as a friend of the Free State Project, and be a Free Stater. At that point, now the criteria for being a Free Stater is different. We've reached 20,000. The criteria is different. The criteria is move and then sign, rather than sign and then move.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how that should be, and the number should that solves everybody's problems up here on the stage up to this point. Because Johnson wants a counter that continues to go up, and I'm with you. That would look better. I do not want that counter to constantly be rechecked to see whether or not everybody's still alive or still in the state or hasn't taken vacation or whatever.
Luckily, everybody can do their own thing. That's one of the great things about this.
You could start, your own website that says therealfreestateprojectcounter.com, and you can have one person participating.
Hey, I bet there would be more people that would participate. And eventually what would happen is if enough people participate, then it might start being one of those things where you start to get peer pressured about it. And people go, Mark, why aren't you doing this? What are you, a loser? Help participate. This makes us look good.
That's when I hold up my hand and say, give me $1. And then if they're willing to give me $1, I'll go ahead and do it.
Okay.
$1.
That's easy.
And then every time it comes back around, every year when you
I'd
make
be willing to fund $1 a year for you to do that.
Give me $1.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
no big deal. Okay.
That's fine by me.
I'm sure there'd be people willing to donate to get people to, continue to contribute to that number.
Matthew calling in from whatever state is an M and an I. Is that Michigan? Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
That's Michigan.
Okay, thanks.
So I was just online and I saw a thing where if you receive automatic updates on Windows 7, 8, and I think Vista, they're automatically going to update you to Windows 10.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought
I
that
just
they
read
were,
this as well.
that you were getting automatically updated to Windows 10 regardless of any choices you made, that they were just going to do it, and that's that.
Yeah, and my thoughts on that with, all the documents that came out over the last 2 years and even before that with the Xbox One and how much, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut because I'm really not, but, when Xbox One was originally supposed to have to always have a connection to the internet and had to have the Kinect sensors, which was effectively a camera, and there was documentation proving that, the NSA requested Microsoft to allow them access to all of this. So then they backed off on that, and then come Windows 10, they did allow the NSA access to some backdoor information.
Well, allow me to fuel your conspiracy a little bit further. Microsoft has also been responsible for providing the United States government the zero-day exploits that they discover in their operating system in advance of providing them, publicly, so that the government can use those to exploit foreign governments who use Microsoft products, and that's why foreign governments have been exceedingly fleeing Windows as fast as they possibly can.
Time to switch to Linux, Matthew. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 855-450-3733. Why am I giving that number? There's no room. Let's go to Derek J. calling in on Skype. Derek, you're on Free Talk Live.
I'm celebrating the 20,000 victory of the Free State Project, and I'd like to see the number go up to 100,000.
Yeah.
I think it's time for another thermometer, meter count, whatever you want to call it. This is a revolutionary and remarkable time, and I'm celebrating that we've gotten this far. I never thought it would happen, and now that there's all this media attention around the Free State Project achieving this goal that no one thought was ever going to happen, it finally has, and now let's go higher. I say 100,000. Let's make it 20,000 people who have moved to New Hampshire and 100,000 people committed to moving. That's what I'd like to see. And furthermore, it was ridiculous hearing about the presidential caucus and everything going on in Iowa. Just a thought on that is that we have video of every single football play for the last 50 years. If we didn't see something from a certain angle, we review the tape. We see it from 50 different angles. It gets reviewed, calls are recalled. I know that football is a lot more important than a presidential election, but I would hope that there'd be some video of these coin tosses, that are going on, determining who's going to be the next dictator.
I actually saw a video on the news.
I saw one video, but that was one out of 5.
Yeah,
one out of 6. Derek J., thank you for the call. Yeah, I agree that he's absolutely right. There should have been video on this. Let's go. Last real quick call going to Michelle Seven, former host.
Wow.
With two former hosts in a row. Michelle Seven, you're on Free Talk Live. Got 1 minute.
Hi, guys. How are you?
All's well.
Well, my latest venture as of today, not only am I without a passport, without a bank account, I'm now without kids, and I'm without a home, and I'm living on the road.
Oh, no. You sound like a you sound like a hobo.
No, I think it's fabulous. Are you kidding me? I think it's great.
When are you building your tiny house?
I am actually, so I am pulling what is going to be my tiny house behind my truck right now. And I am going to 16 states, and I'm going to choose between one of 4.
What's the mileage on that truck?
Well, with the trailer, probably only about 14 miles per gallon.
Oh, it's actually pretty good considering.
Yeah, well, it's a diesel, and it's got good pulling power.
Yep. You're a little lady in a big truck.
So, yeah. I am a little lady in a big truck, but I'm going to be blogging about it and stuff, too. But,
Where?
I've always been, probably on michelle7.com.
Okay. Is 7 a number or is it spelled out?
5 years.
Is Michelle 7?
MICHELESEVEN.com.
Okay, got it. Well, people are going to have to check it out there, Michelle. Go ahead.
I think I'm going to be a really good example to people who, in the next 5 years, find themselves without a home, without a job, and don't know what to do. And, yeah.
Well, I am interested in hearing more about the adventures, Michelle. Please call in and keep us updated. Want to hear what happens on the road. Always interesting things happen when you're on the road. 855-450-3733.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 90% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. If you're a regular reader of freekeene.com, you know there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more, all originating here. Though it's more than just activism, with regular social events each week. See what's happening at freekeene.com and get connected with video, audio, free books, a forum, and activist tools you can download and use in your area at freekeene.com. That's freekeene.com.
You can control your health care with Liberty Health Share.
Liberty Health Share is like-minded people coming together to share medical costs, which saves money.
You don't even have to pay for procedures that violate your conscience.
Because we all share the same values.
Join the movement of people who share in medical costs and change the way you pay for your health care forever.
Go to libertyhealthshare.org to find out more.
Liberty Health Share.
Together, we're changing healthcare for good. libertyhealthshare.org.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices